Are you listening? Damn.
Welcome to another edition of the AFC North Talk presented by True Classic. Get your shirt game on with True Classic. Okay. So Q is MIA at this moment.
All right, let's not say MIA. He's running late. All right, let's not throw him. I mean, he's dealing with, I understand what he's going through right now.
And then Ace.
Was this his Super Bowl? Was this his Super Bowl, by the way?
Maybe. I don't know what Ace. Oh, wait, Ace. Is that Ace? Let me see.
Oh, hello, AFC North Talk. You might have met my twin brother, Stinker Fitzpatrick, but this is Amari Pooper. And I'm just wondering what happened in Cleveland. These dogs that came in, they were a little aggressive. It was close. It was very close. They had our number. For a while. Hold on. I got to roll up something here. Got to get the mood right. It's a little bit of some stuff in here. Oh, this is a big one.
It's a big one.
Oh, yeah. We got some 2.4 of Nick Chubb in here. We've got 1.5 of Kareem Hunt. I'm even in here. Amari Cooper, I'm in here as well. A little bit of JOK. Ooh, let me go ahead and get this ladder. I might have to hit this 17 times. A little Logan Wilson. Hold on. What's that smell? Oh, that dog is stinky. Oh, my goodness. All right, doggy. Time to say goodbye to the Cleveland Browns. I got some Casamigos here for you. Time to go ahead. Oh, we got a little dirt on the shovel. Hold on. Let me clean it off a little bit. Hold on 1 second. I got to get something here. A little bit of this. Clean it off.
I might catch you straight.
Clean that dirt off a little bit.
Not in this segment.
Go ahead and bury these brownies, man. Say goodbye, old Yeller. Say goodbye to the Cleveland Browns season.
So what it looks like here is Mr. Amari Pooper and Minka Fitzpatrick has put two AFC North teams.
Who was that guy? That guy was
very mean. Wow. Very mean. Also, I'm catching strays from that guy.
pretty direct strays. If I might add. Anyway, guys, thank you everybody for joining us. Ace.
It's gonna be a fun one today for some fan bases.
So for those of you that don't follow us on Twitter, and if you haven't, you should. AFC North Talk, or Ace and Tony, myself and Q, we all have our own Twitter as well. There was some terms and agreements that was negotiated by my lawyer that is not here right now, that he recommended to change the terms. And I, after we were, negotiating in the back, and me and Tony agreed like 5 minutes before the game.
Yeah, that's right. And you know what's funny about it is I was the one that reached out like 5 minutes before the game. I realized, hey, we haven't actually made that bet. Let's get it in.
Yeah.
And now,
Tony was feeling good when we lost Snoop, and he said, he didn't even know who the third team's quarterback is. To be honest, most people didn't know who our third team's quarterback.
I don't know that I was feeling good at any point in this game. I am now a football nihilist, by the way. I feel nothing. So
you feel nothing.
What's
up, Q?
What's up, man?
Thank you.
Up, man?
We were talking here about the terms and agreements of me and Tony's bet that you negotiated for me, that I appreciated.
I told you I'm the best agent in the game. Lamar Jackson gave me a call.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get that 15% or that 5%. Changed my life. 5% of 230
million. That wouldn't be that bad.
You might be good with 1% of what's coming from you.
Let me tell you, if I could get 5% of 230 million, I will be on time to this show every day because I would have nothing else to do, dog. Or I might never be in town. Like, it's either one or the other.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably not in town one.
Probably the latter.
I'll be like, I'm hitting y'all up from the airport.
Sorry, guys. only showing up for wins.
So you guys agreed to the deal I brokered last show?
5 minutes before. 5 minutes.
Like basically right before game time, I hit Sonny up and I said, "Hey man, are we doing this bet for the background or what?"
Ooh,
yeah.
I like it. I like the pressure tactic there by Tony. He
Yeah.
really pressured himself into this bet that now only he can lose.
Only I can lose. That's right. No, it's basically like I put it all on black, and now I'm basically double or nothing. I'm at this point. It's either double or nothing. I'm either getting my money back, even, or I'm down bad. So we'll see. So, but I had these people on Twitter who were like, "Oh, Tony's trying to peer pressure. Tony's trying to peer." I said, "I just like gambling. I just like gambling."
No, dude, I got DMs people saying, "Sonny, take the chip challenge." I'm like, "Fuck no, I'm not." And then other people were like, "Oh, come on, dude." And I was like, and then you hit me up, and it was like a storm. Like you hit
I might rather do the chip challenge and have a Ravens thing. I was just thinking about this all off season for a Ravens thing. I may just rather do the chip challenge and get that over with.
Well,
I might take it.
No. It's not and or. You already agreed to the terms. Like, there was no chip option in this agreement.
Well, we could, again, we can. You did not
add a chip out. The ink got signed at 1:00 on Sunday. There was no chip option. No chip option.
No, I'm adding a chip option. I'm adding
an option. No,
adding a chip option.
No.
Look,
we're gonna take this to arbitration.
We still got one more game to play. We still got one more to go. Still one more.
I was about to say, if you take this to Supreme Court, Ace is gonna be your judge, and I don't think he's gonna rule any favorably in your behalf than I did.
Okay, so before we get started, you guys, if you haven't followed us, we put out there on the Twitter a poll. What do you want us to start with? What game? Bengals Browns was the result, 56-43 or 44. So saying that, I'm gonna start with Kareem Blunt since he had the intro cue. I know you missed the intro.
Oh, I got it.
You need to go back later and watch that intro for Mr. Ace Boogies, aka Kareem Blunt,
aka Amari Pooper.
Yeah,
Amari Pooper.
So Ace, tell us.
Stinker's twin brother.
Oh, Ace, before you go, because we have a couple super chats, and then I'll go with you. Sorry, because then undrafted free agent QB.
That flea flicker put Grant Delpit in hell.
In Pittsburgh, got the catch me if you can. # down your throat. Okay. I never thought I would be a fan of a Steeler player, but I would.
The best quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens in that game was clearly Mitchell Trubisky. That was like nobody did more for the Ravens in that game than Mitchell Trubisky, dog.
He was good. He was really good. He was really, really good.
He was 3 for 3 for the Ravens.
Yeah, he only had like 6. At one point, his only incompletions were interceptions. So
you play bad when Pat Queen kicks you off. You know what I mean? Because he don't usually catch them things, but you must have threw an easy one.
No, you have to go see that interception. We'll talk about it.
It was amazing.
High point. I mean, I was like,
he finally came down with one. He has had like 4 or 5 plays. It was like, oh my God, Pat Queen. And then it's like, nope.
When the interception happened, I didn't know who it was, right? Because you couldn't see the number. And I was shocked when I saw it was Patrick Queen. Because the type
you knew it was Roquan Smith, didn't you?
I thought, like, bro, a second one? Anyway, refs are going to flag the intro, like the first half appearance. Cincinnati needed some help. Ravens D finally
we gave it to him. We sure gave it to him. What you mean, dog? We ran into the punter. Like, that wasn't a bad flag. We got a roughing the punter call. And it's not like he was backed up in his own red zone, in his own end zone. We just ran into the dude on a normal punt. Watch every other punt in the NFL, and you will not see a linebacker run up the middle of the damn punt. But that's what we did last time. Shout out.
Favorite coach?
Shout out. Preef.
Ravens D finally take away 23 this year versus 15. Cleveland better not start trying on offense this week. Oh, okay.
They got the Ravens this week, right?
They do. Bad
news for the Ravens.
they really thought they were better.
We were better,
Okay.
but whatever.
Patrick Queen and
Doesn't
Roquan
matter.
are the
Still
best
nothing.
linebackers in the North. Okay. I think that was it.
Say that in the Bengal space.
Patrick Queen. I don't know.
I'm about to say you better
One
watch
guy
your
that
mouth.
had
In Logan
best amount of
Wilson's
tackles,
Logan
maybe.
Wilson's earth, dog. What are you talking about?
And
What was
Pratt's
the
been better
Logan
this year than
Wilson
Logan
game?
Wilson.
I say
The problem with
The-
Bengals,
the real
now-
competition that AFC North at linebackers in the Bengals linebacker room between
Right.
Jermaine Pratt and
Pratt
Logan
or
Wilson.
Wilson. Pratt's
Everybody
actually having a
else,
better year. Yeah.
Roquan Smith ain't shit. Let me tell you that.
What? Yeah, you
Wow,
will
no,
see him first in person this week. Anyway,
Roquan's
Oh yeah,
pretty
he
good.
gonna be stopping the run. I know.
Ace,
Yep.
you guys were being told Burrow cannot beat the Browns. The Browns are the kryptonite to those
They
Bengals.
were for sure.
And
I
then
would
you
say,
guys
and I said
go-
this on the last episode, 8 of 9, I think, was the Browns had run that streak on us. It started to feel kind of like the Marvin Lewis era, Pittsburgh against Cincinnati. But this was one that they had to mentally be able to kind of take on, right? Like, because it's been a thing. And not only do you have to play the Browns, you're playing the Browns with Deshaun Watson back at quarterback in his second start. Didn't look rusty at all. Deshaun Watson looked pretty good to me in this game. But the main thing that I kind of said that they had to do in this game was, number one, at least try to double team Myles Garrett. I think they did a good job of that in the first half. Myles still ended up with 2 sacks. One of them, I think, was the Jamar Chase trick play or whatever, but it's Myles Garrett. You're going to give up 2 sacks to Myles. But the one thing that I really like what they did was Lou Anarumo just made a concentrated effort to try to slow down that run game. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, I felt like that was a major key. But honestly, when the game started, it kind of looked like one minus the early game turnovers that was kind of headed in that direction, right? Like when we were watching it, Tyler Boyd is like hurt, I guess, before the game or the first series. He ends up messing up his finger. His finger's dislocated. And then T. Higgins had tweaked his hamstring in Thursday's practice, which I was kind of worried about because I've torn my hamstring before. I know how those things can linger. And so T. Higgins isn't even playing. He's just sitting on the sideline with the helmet. And I start to see Cleveland, double teaming Chase. And I'm just like, what are the Bengals going to be able to do? They can't get anything going here offensively. And then essentially they finally get things rolling. They get some key contributions from some of the players that people don't know about, the Trenton Irwins, the Trent Taylors. They start coming in, and I have to credit Zach. He definitely changed up his game plan with moving Chase around, trying to put him in ideal situations to try to make him a part of this game. And I think that started working for the Bengals. I think that started to bode well for them. And then I feel like in the second half, they just did a good job of trying to hold Watson at bay. Watson was definitely getting to a point where I feel like he was kind of bubbling, but he never got a chance to really boil in that game per se. But the other thing is you kind of saw this Bengals defense in the red zone against an aggressive Kevin Stefanski offense. And I think that was a key point in this game because they forced them out. When I thought Cleveland was going to score first, they forced them out on that turnover on downs on 4th down. They did that a couple of times in that territory, so I got to give credit to them. DJ Reader, I told people going into this game, DJ Reader was going to be a difference maker. This guy is just playing at an unreal level. I mean, DJ Reader, it looked like I was watching the Tennessee game where he's just coming straight through the line and helping people get Nick Chubb down at the line of scrimmage. It really just seemed definitely similar to that game. But the other guy that went crazy in this game, and it's ironic because we had this debate before the season, JOK and Logan Wilson. And I had to look twice because I was doing the stream. I went through the stats at halftime, and I'm like, how does Logan Wilson have 11 tackles? This guy ended the game with 17 tackles in the game. Big game for him and Logan Wilson. Jesse Bates gets the interception. But another guy that I have to give kudos to, the rookie. I've been kind of waiting to see how he kind of does against some of these other guys. I kind of felt like the last time they played against Cleveland, he was picked on because that was a game where Cheeto goes out. Eli Apple was out that game. So the young buck, Cam Taylor-Britt, kind of got picked on in that game. He stood his own against Amari Cooper, who I think is one of the best receivers in the NFL. He's definitely in my top 10, top 15. I thought he did an amazing job between him and DPJ. Some of those throws I would have thought would have gotten, he might have gotten mossed, or he probably would have gotten taken advantage of, but he kind of stood tall, had a key play on Donovan Peoples-Jones in the end zone. The only thing that I would say that's weird that Kevin Stefanski did was they kind of brought Jacoby in. And I thought that was weird because it's like Jacoby hasn't even warmed up. You bring him in on a 4th down, a cold quarterback,
do a quarter route,
no feel of the game, and you take that shot. That was somewhat puzzling for me in that one. But this was just one that the Bengals had to get over the hump, right? Like just mentally, you had to say, okay, Joe Burrow has finally beat Cleveland now. You had to do it in a weird way, and you had to do it in a way where you were facing some adversity, right? Because Tyler Boyd goes down, T. Higgins is down, and this is a team with a good secondary, so they had to get creative in ways to try to attack this defense. This was one that Jamar Chase wanted. There was a lot of talk of the on-site. I think he's finally put up a good game against Denzel Ward to kind of even that up a little bit. But I think the Bengals just went out, took care of business, did what they needed to do. It wasn't super flashy. It wasn't super clean. This was a game that had a whole bunch of penalties. That one drive, it just seemed like every play was a penalty that was called in that one. But once they finally get past that, I think the Bengals just went out and took care of business. But the Browns are a better team than people really give them credit for. Like you could tell that this was more like a 8-4 team versus a 7-5 team. That was kind of the feel early on. And I think that Cleveland has something in Watson, and they got something that they're building there. They're just going to have to try to figure it out and put it together and figure out how to get that perfect balance. But I think Watson looked really good. If I'm a Cleveland fan and I went into this game, even though you lost to the Bengals, it was a close game. It was one where I felt like Watson definitely showed some promise, a lot more than he did the first week against the Texans for sure. Like he looked to me, and I'm not a Browns fan. I'm a Deshaun Watson fan from the past. He looked like Deshaun Watson to me when he showed up. So yeah, I think the Browns have something there going forward. And as I've said before, I think this could be potentially the marquee matchup moving forward in the division.
Okay, so one thing I will say here is Deshaun, for me, watching back this game, look okay. But my expectation was always that this was going to be the Deshaun, especially early in the season, early for him in the season, right? It was more like Cleveland Browns fans thought, like, he's coming in. Not only he not going to be rusty, but this is a new offense for him, right? This is a new offense for him. It's like he is well-oiled machine. He couldn't practice. It wasn't like he was practicing from week 1 all the way to now, right? He was away from the team. I think the expectation for some Browns fan was like he's coming all years, and they see. But the surprising thing is not the defense, right? Mixon had a great game. Mixon had another strong game on the running side. The Bengals are funding that running game again, which is interesting. But we know the Browns struggle with that. But the thing that I'm trying to figure out, and I know DJ Reader, but we talk always about the Cleveland Browns as the top 2-3 rushing offenses in the whole NFL, right? And it seemed to me, not only we talk about, can you slow down Henry? Can you slow down Chubb? No, this was basically a shutdown of the running game. And that's what I would like for you to start, Q. How is this running game got dismantled when you think of Deshaun Watson? Well, the passing game should open a little bit more, so the running game should be even better. And I feel it's taking a step back. Go ahead, Q.
Well, it's been like this for since the Miami game, right? Where the Browns just have not been able to run the ball at an efficient clip, right? Because you ask any Browns fan, they're going to blame it on Yodi Freehold, the center. He's like a third string guy who's not even a center. He's really a backup guard that's thrown in there at center right now because our starting center, Nick Harris, got hurt in the preseason. So he's in that position and people are blaming him, but I don't think it's just him. I think teams have done a really good job. And this is what Pittsburgh has always done well against the Browns. And I think everybody else is starting to pick up on it. They know how Nick Chubb runs, right? Like Mike Tomlin has a real good ideal and grasp on how Nick Chubb runs and how he sees things, right? because Nick will stretch and crease you, which is different than what people expect, which is power run or I don't know. So a lot of people think he runs a lot of outside zone. He runs a lot of wide zone stretch crease, right? That's what he likes to do. Teams are now not like they're playing the crease. So now Nick Chubb's vision has to adjust, and it doesn't seem like he sees the field well when he's not cutting across the grain as he does. Hey, this is I can see the smile. This is Tony's damn. This is Tony.
I'm actually right. A super chat. Their super chat came in.
Okay, I'm about to say, but yeah. So he doesn't see the field well when he's not cutting against the grain. So he has to make that adjustment. Also, I don't feel like the offensive line has adjusted to that adjustment well, right? I don't think they're winning these battles up front. They're not, like, for the love of God. I know DJ Reader is really good. I know he's really good. But DJ Reader looked like 350-pound Reggie White, okay, on Sunday, dog. He was at some point, I think it was in the second quarter, I was like, stop running the ball. DJ Reader's there. I don't care where you run the ball. DJ Reader somewhere, and he's there about to get, like, every play, DJ Reader. Like, if he wasn't getting the whole body, he was tripping you up. Just all world DJ Reader that day. Oh my goodness, DJ Reader had himself a day. DJ Reader can put that tape up and probably get a bunch of money whenever his contract is up off the strength of that game, because my goodness. So, yeah, that happened. That's part of the issue with the run game. I think some of it is also now they're running more RPOs. Now they're running out of pistol, and that's kind of new for this team. But I also think the problem's the same problem that existed before. Everybody is going at this, and they're approaching this. We had this question, right? Would they approach Deshaun Watson as if he's Deshaun Watson, or would they play him the same as Jacoby Brissett and let him prove that he's Deshaun Watson first? They're playing him the same as Jacoby Brissett. He has to go out there and prove. Now, they're doing some differences, right? They're not going to let him just get, like, covered. They're not doing the crazy disrespectful stuff that they did to Jacoby, where they're like, we're going to run 8 in the box and go 1 high, right? Like, they're not doing that to him. But they are playing a version of, hey, we're going to worry about Nick Chubb first. The offense had a lot more success, I think, in the second half once they got off of, on first down, we got to run the ball, right? Once they started going to empty, run some basic stick, run, just get it spread out, get 5 yards on first down throwing the ball. I felt like the offense moved more consistently throughout the rest of the game. Now, to the Watson point, the reason I'm not freaking out about this loss, 1, didn't think playoffs were really a chance. 2, not gonna lie, I care more about how Watson looks than I care about the result at this point, right? Like, the result's nice. I want the result. It's going to be easier to track free agents if you say, hey, we went 5-1, 4-2, but we suck and we don't have a first round pick. The result's not that important right now. I think how Watson looks takes precedent in making sure that you're able to the result matters because you want to win the games he plays well in, right? Because you don't want to have this whole empty calorie thing go out about him, which has been around him for a while. I've even used that as a counterpoint to him. So you want to make sure that you have no doubts about what this offense is going to be and he's in a position to succeed, so that all they have to do over the offseason is tune to find points, right? Like, that's really where you want to get at with him. I felt like they took a tremendous step in the right direction there. Early on in this game, they had him real limited, and he was able to do everything, that they were asking of him, but it wasn't that complicated of a game plan. Boy, on that drive where he threw that interception, after that, he made that throw to Donovan Peoples-Jones with the man, it was Joseph Osai, wrapped around him, and it was a bomb that he threw. Like, I think it was like a 15, 20-yard pass that he threw one-legged, and I was like, he's back. And then he threw the interception, and I'm like, he's 75% back. But even then in his press conference, the way he was able to explain how it happened, the level of recall that he had in it made me feel like, okay, this sounds like Deshaun Watson again, right? Like, even in his press conference stuff, where last week he made those mistakes and he could not tell you what went wrong, right? This week it's like, okay, I was late. I was on the opposite hash. I thought I could make the throw, but clearly I couldn't. It is what it is. Bates saw it coming too. I think he also he's had this issue a couple of weeks where he's not real disciplined with his eyes yet again, and he kind of cheated over.
Who else isn't?
Mitch Magic. Yeah. So he kind of cheated over, and I think it was one of those things where it's like he would normally hold that extra half a beat to make sure that Jesse Bates commits or sticks in the middle of the field, but instead he went over early because he wasn't sure. And you give Jesse Bates a little bit of extra time with your eyes, he's gonna get to that. That's what Jesse Bates does. So I think also there was that kind of factored into it. But it's a positive sign for Cleveland because it looks like Watson, there were concerns, right? Even deep down, I was like, I hope he don't look like that next week, right? Because this is going to become uncomfortable if he looks like he did against Houston, against Cincinnati. Because that's where this whole thing starts to get down the path where it's like, is he different? You know what I mean? But that to me looked like, oh, okay, this looks like the same Deshaun Watson. He's just in a new offense and he's not sure of certain things. He'll be fine. Now I'm in the he'll be fine thing 100%. So I'm fine with that. Felt like Perion Winfrey played well. Felt like Myles Garrett had 2 sacks. I don't think he played that well. I think this is oddly enough, I think his worst game in a couple years against the Bengals. The bar's high. But yeah, he had 2 sacks in this game. Jadeveon, though, he was balling. But the secondary kept making dumb plays. You had 2 times where the ball wasn't even thrown, but you're getting a holding call on a wide receiver. Why is that? Right? Another play where you get a holding call on a play away from the ball. You're living so scared to death to getting beat by these guys that you're making these mental mistakes that are extending these drives for the Bengals. Not a focused game from them. Not a great game discipline-wise. Offensively, obviously, there's a lot to clean up. I mean, bringing in Jacoby Brissett, I hope Kevin learned his lesson there, right? I talk about this all the time. Kevin sometimes plays Battleship by himself, right? He outthinks himself. There's no reason to bring in Jacoby Brissett to do anything but sneak or hand it off to the dude who's sneaking, right? Though you got 2 options. That's all you need to do there. You don't need to have him pull out, run out right, and throw it to a corner. That's like when he had Amari Cooper throw a pass. Why? He's never done it before. You know what I mean? You just can't outthink yourself in these areas. So that was, that's just Kevin Stefanski shit. You hope that he gives you better going forward. You just live with it. You know what I mean? It's not going away. I don't think it's just this shit's gonna pop up with him. It is what it is. Every coach has that stuff where you're like, you do this, it drives me crazy, but I feel like you bring more to the table.
It's one of those things though where
he's not a fan of the 4th down chances.
Never.
Not like the fancy.
Oh yeah, it's not even the AWS stuff. No, but it is one of those things with Stefanski where it almost feels like, oh, this is such a in his mind, he's thinking like, man, I got him.
You know what it is? It's gambling, right? It's gambling.
But it's not.
Okay. He hits on it 30% of the time, right. And he believes since he hits on it 30% of the time, it's going to hit every time, right?
It's you remember when you hit.
Yeah, it's like if someone tells you I have a really great roulette strategy. It's no, roulette has there's just roulette is a fixed game. You don't have a great roulette strategy. There's no such thing. But Stefanski in that moment, he's thinking I got him, guys. Here's what we're gonna do.
He's like, boy, they're gonna be talking about this one.
Yeah, exactly.
We're
gonna bring in Jacoby. We're going to bring in Jacoby. They're going to think it's QB sneak. Why we wouldn't bring in Jacoby to throw? We have Watson now. Why would we do that? They're never going to see this coming. And then after the play, it's man, that was really what
sometimes you come up with something that nobody
incredibly stupid.
Sometimes you come up with something that nobody would expect, and it's not because you outsmarted them. It's because that shit was dumb. You know what I mean? Sometimes you could be so smart that you can actually get stupid, right? And sometimes
what if the dumb thing we do here is actually the smart thing to do?
Yeah. Galaxy brain stuff, right? That's the meme. Yeah. But that happens with that happens. I think Kyle Shanahan's probably the best at not being so smart that he's dumb. He's actually so smart that he does what's simple a lot, where he's like, oh, Brock Purdy's the quarterback. I'm gonna run this thing all day. You know what I mean? So yeah, Bill Belichick's also like that too. So Kevin's got to learn. Sometimes it's smarter to just do what's simple. But yeah, it's those kind of things with Kevin. It is what it is. I just, again, the special teams is just dog shit. The defense is just dog shit. It's just
favorite coach.
Yeah, I can't sit here and act like there are new problems with the team. The problems with the team are the same ones, except for now the offensive line, it looks fatigued. So there's that problem there.
I saw Brown's Twitter always killing Willis.
Yeah, they look. Jed has
been doing that for years
language.
though. That's like a thing.
He has bad body language, so he's ripe for somebody. He's one of those guys who has bad body language, and how those guys get picked on, right? Whether it's right or wrong. the bad body language people.
He
always
also
get
has
down.
had, in my opinion, probably his worst season. It's not that he's been trash, but his worst season
This is his
in
second
his
season.
young
Right?
career.
This third. No,
Third
no. I think I would say his play's been good. Just the amount of bad Jed Wills play you see plastered on Twitter looks like he's playing bad. His play's been up from last year. Like I think he's been better this year. Like he's been better at not getting beat inside as much. His first 2 years, if you just did an inside rip on him, he was cooked. You know what I mean? And his run blocking was pretty poor. He's actually a better run blocker now. His pass blocking, I felt like it's better, right? But it's not like a big leap or anything like that. He's he is in the same class of tackle that Jonah Williams is. You want him on your team because you drafted him in the first round, and he's good enough to start for sure. The question is, do you pay him? Right? Like that's where you get into iffy territory. 5th-year option, probably. Pay him? I don't know. I don't know if you pay Jet Wills, but yeah, he's been fine. The issue has really been in the interior. Wyatt Teller has not been good. That's what's gone under notice is Wyatt Teller's been pretty cakes the last couple of weeks, and it's been like demonstrable. Like he's just whiffing on stuff. I think he's hurt and he's playing out there, and they can't really put a backup guard in to let him rest because they don't have a backup guard because the backup guard's the center right now. They're just beat up. They're beat up, man. And the Ravens come to town next week, and we know how the Ravens defensive line likes to play versus the Browns. So, hey, Deshaun, hope you're ready to be mobile, baby, because you will have to sling that thing around because when Nick Chubb had 2.4 yards per carry, that's not changing next week with Roquan Smith and Calais Campbell. So, Deshaun, I know it's only your 3rd game back, but next week is all on you, buddy.
Tony.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ace and Q pretty much hit on everything. I guess I'll disagree a little bit. I mean, I'm probably more with you, Sonny, on my perception of Watson coming out of this one. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to doubt his talent, right? Or that Deshaun Watson will eventually get back to the kind of quarterback that we've seen from him in the past. I don't know that we're there yet, though. Certainly after this one, like, okay, yeah, he was better than he was in Houston, but I don't even know that I would call this a good game from him, right? It's like it's better than last week, but still, like, is he okay? I have a question. Is he better right now than Jacoby Brissett was for this same offense?
Ooh.
It depends on which game you're talking about. Like, I think this was, if I'm grading this on a scale based on each player, right?
Yeah.
On a Deshaun Watson scale, you're right. This isn't even a C game for him. Like, you wouldn't. This would be a C- for him. The game that he put up on his regular scale. Jacoby Brissett, though, if Jacoby Brissett put up this game, it would be one of them games where we're making the argument, well, it wasn't Jacoby's fault we lost, but it's not his fault we won. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those games. It was one of
yeah.
But I guess to Tony's point here is
it was pretty much what Jacoby was giving us on average was what he gave us, I think. Like, maybe you can argue that he doesn't throw that pick, but I mean, Jacoby throws that pick all the time in that situation, like in that situation on that route specifically.
Yeah, so. I think the point here is like the fact that that's even a question, right? I think it tells you like Watson's not back yet. We're not ready to, we're even thinking about comparing the two players. Like no one before the season was like, well, Jacoby Brissett's going to give us Deshaun Watson level play, right? At this point, we're ready for waiting for Deshaun Watson to give us
top 7 quarterback according to Pro Football Focus at PFF and ESPN.
Well, that's right. I forgot that Jacoby Brissett is like the great. Well, I wonder what they gave Mitch from yesterday's game. They probably gave Mitch like a 90 grade. None of those were turnover worthy plays, and it was just like a 90.
Yeah, those red zone interceptions don't matter.
They don't count. They don't count.
All three of them were like right in the red zone. Like the last
no, the one was a deep
in the red
one.
zone.
Was a deep one.
It just ended up in the end zone, right?
Yeah. Well, they were in Ravens territory. We'll talk about it.
Oh god, that's rough.
I okay. Here's where I'm starting to get impressed with the Bengals because. Awuzie is down for the year, right? And we've talked about Awuzie in the offseason about what an important player he was last year, how consistent he was, right? The fact that he kind of entered his name into, a kind of elite level of corner, at least he had elite level play. And the question was, hey, can he continue that? And he really did in the early parts of the season. He was still very good. He's gone. I mean, he's not there, and really, like, show me on that defense where you can really see that, like, wow, they're really missing, like, they're one of their best players. Like, do the Bengals defense look like a team that is down? You would have said last year that Awuzie was what, top 3 player on that team. How many of us could say that they could lose the top 3 player in their defense and not see any significant fall off? That's to me what's kind of surprised me about this Bengals team over the last couple weeks. Look, there were some empty calories when it came to Watson and their ability to move the football. A lot of it was late in the game, and a lot of it was, at the end of the drive, like they stalled out, which I get to Q's point. Hey, it's the old Herm Edwards, like, you can build on this, right? We can build on this because at the next drive, it's going to, we're going to complete it. But I think to the Bengals, I continue to come away more and more impressed with the fact that this defense now for 2 seasons in a row has been as consistent as they are, and have had to, and like last year, everyone said, oh, they had so many, they were so lucky with injuries, and all their major players stayed healthy. This year, that really hasn't been the case. I mean, again, like I just said, they lost Logan Wilson for a little bit, and they lost Wouzier for the year, and you really haven't seen a big kind of downswing in this defense, especially against quarterbacks who, like Watson. If this were a game where Watson did look like Watson again, you would imagine that Cam Taylor-Britt is having a real bad day today, but that didn't happen. One sequence in this game, though, I think there was that beginning part of the game. So rewatching it, obviously all I caught was the red zone version of this live. And also to talk about the Jacoby Brissett play again. I mean, when they showed that on red, I turned over to the red zone. I'm like, did Watson get hurt? Why is Jacoby Brissett in on 4th and 1? What's going on? Then he throws the ball. I'm like, he must be hurt because you definitely wouldn't bring Jacoby Brissett in to throw the ball.
I saw that man drop back. Because they did it last week where they bring him in for the 4th and 1. I'm like, okay, he's really good. QB sneaks. They're going to sneak it, whatever.
Yeah.
Then he dropped back, and I'm like, this is shuttle pass, right? Like they go and slip this to like David Njoku. They got like something schemed up, and then he threw an actual pass. I could not believe what I saw there, dog. Could not.
And then to stay on the injury point, to go to the Bengals. I mean, obviously, offensively, they've continued to deal with Higgins being, kind of in and out of that lineup. Now they lost Boyd in this, right? They went that whole month without Jamar Chase. And while, look, this hasn't exactly been like a consistent 30 points a week, right? They're lighting everybody up. But still, I mean, when they needed points in this one, there was that moment, I think it was in the second quarter, it was right before the second touchdown. It's a key play in the game because, I mean, you don't want to say one play decided the whole game. But, man, when they got that sack on Burrow on 3rd, I think it was like 3rd and 10, and then they called the offsetting holding, like it was like defensive holding on Harrison and then offensive holding on, whoever it was, Lyle Collins, to get to do the play over again. And that's when they hit the 30-yarder. That was like that was such a huge pivotal play in the middle of the game. Overall, though, look, for the Browns, and Q hit the nail on the head. All you should care about right now, if you're a Browns fan, is getting Watson to look right. Figure out, like I said when this first started, let Watson figure himself out, kind of work himself into this offense, work off the rust and all that, and let Stefanski figure out, okay, what does this offense look like if I have an elite quarterback, and how do I continue to make sure that we're giving opportunities to guys like Chubb and Hunt and all of that, and making sure this running game is still going, while also, working in my elite quarterback. That's what matters between now and the end of the year.
Yeah.
As a Steeler fan, I wish I could say the same about my game, but we'll talk about that in a second.
It's cute. Before I go to the super chats, as we're wrapping up this segment, is there any way? Well, if not to listen on Twitter, right? Because on Twitter, I hear this a lot, and I hear from all 4 franchises, to be honest, especially after a loss. Is there any way Stefanski can get into a hot seat this year? Or is his job safe? You're muted, Key.
You're muted.
Oh, you don't go over 500 with Watson here. They're gonna look at you funny. If he doesn't have a great game in these last, I would say if he doesn't look like he has a good game here in the last 6 games, yeah, you're gonna question that, right? Because the focus of the Cleveland Browns isn't to make sure we keep Kevin Stefanski. The focus is going to be what's going to put Deshaun Watson in the best position. And if they don't believe that's Kevin Stefanski's offense, then what does he have to stand on at that point, right? So he's going to have to make sure that he looks good. I think that's probably going to be the case. I think things are leaning in that direction as he gets more and more comfortable in this offense. I think the evidence that Jacoby Brissett did look better than what Jacoby Brissett has put out there when he was in his offense. Same thing with Baker Mayfield. Shows that there's probably a good chance that Watson's going to show that same improvement once he gets comfortable here. As long as he doesn't it would be hard. Like, let's remember, we're looking at these last 4 games. You're playing a Baltimore team that potentially might be down to their 3rd string quarterback. You're playing
dangerous.
Yeah, I know, because they're gonna run the ball, right? Because they're gonna run the ball. That's what I'm worried about.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're playing what, the Saints, you're playing Pittsburgh, and you're playing Tyler Heineke. So watch out. You know what I mean? Like that's the wild card.
Look out.
You're playing the Hinky Hive and everything else. But those aren't the 3 of those 4 teams aren't teams that are scoring a ton of points. And I don't know what Washington's doing. I assume they're not, but like I don't want to get nothing wrong on the Heineke Hive and get roasted.
Right. No, you're gonna be on another
video.
What I mean?
I'm gonna be very careful. I understand that they have 2 board members on this show. So, I know for a fact that 3 of those 4 offenses aren't really that high scoring. And with Watson, you can win those games. Especially like since you don't know where this offense is going to be in a couple of weeks.
We got spam in chat.
Yeah. So, it's not likely that he finished. Like, I think 4-2 is very likely that they finish with him, right? And that's a good place to be at. You go 5-1, even greater, because it's not like a draft pick matters in the first round. So yeah, but if he somehow slips up and goes like 1-5, and the only win you have is that very shaky looking one versus the Texans, yeah, people gonna look at that sideways. You know what I mean? Like ain't no coach is gonna be safe. And what would that ultimately be? A 1-5 where he would finish. What, 6-12, 6-11? Nobody's safe at 6-11.
Battle for the L. Remember, we got the battle for the L at the end of the year here.
That's true.
And you lose. Look. Here's the kiss of death too. You finish 6-11, lose 5 in a row, and that last loss is in Pittsburgh. Dog, nobody lives that trip. Like Baker Mayfield got taken out on that trip. Odell got taken out on that trip. So many people throughout the years have not survived that trip. You know how many times the Browns have played in Pittsburgh? The next day, this coach is fired. So many times throughout the last 20 years. So, yeah, I would have played with fire. Don't end up in last place, lose all these games, and then lose to Pittsburgh because Jimmy Haslam has already seen Tennessee collapse. He will fire somebody if the Browns collapse in that same way. This is not a logical man that owns a team. You know what I mean? So you always have to factor in that. He's not going to be like, oh, well, they were offensive line was hurt. Jimmy Haslam is a certified idiot. He will do something dumb if you give him any reasonable leeway to do it. So, yeah, let's not finish terribly. Let's finish well here so we can make sure we bring the offense in the next year and not trying to hire Sean Payton or something stupid like that.
Go ahead, Ace. You were going to say
2 things I forgot to mention. Hayden Hurst was also missing this game. The second thing, that pass from Burrow that Chase wasn't expecting in between the safety and the corner was insane.
Dog. That's where I was like, yeah, they might go back to the Super Bowl. If the chemistry is like that, their second game back, like I don't even have to know you through it. It's just there. That dog. It's gonna be a lot of regression tweets that age poorly, and I am glad that I never put my chest out on that one. I have never been so glad to stay out. I saw that one coming. I'm like, I know how this goes for me. I'm staying out of this. But Tony went full go. He blitzed on that one. I'm like, boy, am I glad. I learned my lesson when I
regret nothing.
I went regression on Lamar Jackson in 2019, and I learned my lesson. I'm never picking regression for anybody, dog.
The only regret is this conversation right here. Because listen,
Okay, we have a couple.
Imagine doing another AFC North Talk Super Bowl edition.
No,
I mean,
I will not.
Okay, so Cleveland is at O-line away from a great year. 2023 will be interesting.
There's always something though. That's the issue I have right now. There's always we just need this, and then another whack-a-mole pops up. We need to figure this shit out, right? Like what keeps breaking down in his gears of clocks, or I bungled that, but yeah, you know what I was saying.
Hude Joe here says Toyo Q. Joe is the best QB in the NFL, not Pat 3 interceptions.
Now, see, you gotta take it too far. I already said Joe might go back to the Super Bowl. That's enough. You don't need to add more on top of that. Okay.
The losers are downplaying their losses. LOL. DJ Reader. Period.
Yeah, he's good.
This is what regression looks like, guys.
That's the one I laughed at. That was good. I like that
Derek.
one. Derek. I like that.
Yeah.
Props.
Well, I mean, Mitch Trubisky somehow regressed. I don't know how.
I mean, we'll talk. I mean, Mitch.
Derek here.
Why am I talking about Mitch? Again, I'm a nihilist. I am 100% a football nihilist at this point.
You know what Mitchell Trubisky gave you? He gave you a Carson Wentz special, because if you look at only the completions, you might think he balled.
He actually did kind of ball.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It was a Carson Wentz special where you could cut that game up and be like, yo, that throw he made on that last scoring drive y'all had where he got smacked, took the penalty, and threw a dot. I was like, damn.
I hated that.
If I didn't watch those 3 interceptions, I would be under the impression that you were good at this, Mitchell.
Oh, wait, you were mad at the landing on the – that's a rule, though. They call that –
No, I wasn't mad. I said he balled through that. Like, he got hit while he threw it.
Sonny
Oh,
was mad.
plus 15.
Sonny has this whole, like, the refs were against us thing going.
Or were you talking about the one that happened yesterday? Oh, he's specifically talking about I thought he was talking about the one that happened.
He's talking about the one that happened yesterday. He thinks the refs said it in on his Ravens.
Yes, they were.
No, you got that OPI. You got that OPI against the Browns. I know you're not claiming ref favorability.
Yeah, ref favoritism.
Yeah,
yep.
It was.
Sore winner. We got a sore winner up there.
Well, I haven't even spoken yet, but okay.
It's a preamble. I got a preamble.
So Derek here says, ever seen the movie Bengals versus Ravens? I did.
That was actually good though.
Gotta love that Jamar Chase fake pass.
I don't even think that was a fake pass. I just think he just started acting like a passer. So if he got hit hard enough, he could get a roughing the passer call or something like that. There was nobody running a route. And then you can see after he did it, people were asking him, Jamar, what were you doing? He's like, I don't know. I saw Myles Garrett in front of me. It was like, I'm not running towards him. Like,
I do think that more running backs need to, like, when a play is dead and they're clearly going to lose yards, just throw
it out of bounds. They should learn. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You got to get it past line of scrimmage, though. That's the dangerous part.
You have to be careful. Yeah. Is Joe Burrow a Trent Irwin?
Yeah. No, Burrow is just a product of his surroundings.
You know, it's crazy, man.
He didn't have great players like Trent Irwin around him.
I want y'all to think about this. Jamar Chase merchant for years.
I want y'all to think about this. They put Jamar Chase in the slot, and you know where Denzel Ward, Greg Newsome were on those plays. They put Jamar Chase on the slot
on the outside
on Trenton Irvin and some other dude. Okay, I don't remember the other guy.
Trent Taylor.
Trent Taylor. Yeah, Zach Taylor's kid. Okay, look. Why was John Johnson ever on Jamar Chase? Wasn't even pressing. He was from the safety position. They're like, yeah, Jace, run this out. We got nothing for it. You know what I mean? Just get this out. We want you to get on track this week, Jamar Chase. Run this out. Get this free release here. We're not going to bracket you in the second half of this game. We gonna put our best corner on Trenton Irwin, and he still cooked. Can't believe it, dog.
Here from Morta. I'm not gonna read it. I feel like that.
Yeah, we're talking about concussions now. Ravens fans, another quarterback set this one out. Maybe another one, maybe faking an injury. Indefinite amount of time. Let's see if I want to play in these Steeler games.
We don't want to. we don't want to do that, right? With a concussion again. Kenny tried to go back, by the way, which is kind of surprising that they allow him to go back and then he got pulled. That was kind of weird.
I think he self-reported. I think he said, "Hey, no, there's something going on." Is what I don't know, but
the Browns pay a lot of guys to not play lately.
Dog, our linebacker room's out. JOK got carted off, by the way. So fun.
Not great.
Okay.
We're going to start Reggie Ragland in 2022, dog.
Okay.
Hey, I remember from college. He played for
Alabama.
He did. Okay, that was Bama. Yeah.
Alabama. Yeah.
I almost said LSU, so I appreciate you guys.
16 championship team. He was one of them dudes that was at Alabama for like 8 years.
He was a thumper. He was just a thumper.
Yeah.
Him and Trey DePriest, Alabama legends.
They had another guy that I really liked, a Bama linebacker, like Sean Dion.
You talking about Reuben Foster?
No. This guy never made it. He went to Washington. He was like, 29 years old with knee problems.
When Reuben Foster was on the kickoff team at Alabama, that was some shit to see. Like, he would just be cracking them dudes. They would bring in like Georgia Southern. Here come Reuben Foster, 5-star recruit on kickoff return. Just crack. Oh, damn. He used to murder people. I would watch kickoffs just to see who Reuben Foster would kill next.
Let me do something before we read the ad. I want to show something to Tony here. And then you can read the ad, okay?
Sure.
Let me show this here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. HD for you, baby.
Yeah, it's a little slideshowy, but
I don't know. Who did?
Look, what you don't understand.
Great job by Mitchell.
This is that Pat Queen is only in position.
Nasty work.
He's only in position because he's out of position. You know what I mean? If Pat Queen were where he was supposed to be.
The first one or the second one? That was the second one? Okay.
Yeah, Roe was the first one.
Honestly, the first one was worse.
Well, the first one, there's an argument to be made, and again, I haven't watched CL22. There's an argument to be made that Sims ran the wrong route, and that's why, okay, it's either he ran the wrong route. Now, there's also like, hey, this route took too long to develop or whatever. But this is a Matt Canada special of two guys being in the same spot at the same time. But like this whole Mitchell thing.
Okay, before you keep going,
why are we talking about Mitchell?
Let's read the ad. Let's read the ad. Let's read the ad.
100% nihilist. You know what I'm not a nihilist about? You know what I do still care about? My balls. And it's never too early to play holiday music. It's never too early to start thinking about gifts, whether it's for a friend or the friends in your pants. You can make this season to be jolly with Manscaped. Do your little drummer boy a favor and use the Lawnmower 4.0 to avoid another silent night in the bedroom. Then add in Manscaped's top-of-the-line shower products to have all the people thinking, all I want for Christmas is you. Santa cares about his sack, so should you. Look nice when you get naughty by going to manscaped.com and use our promo code AFC North Talk. That's AFC North Talk, all one word, for free shipping and 20% off. The Manscaped Platinum Package 4.0 is the one-stop shop for the man who deserves it all. It has everything needed to help you deck the halls from face to balls just in time for mistletoe season. The Platinum Package has each product from the best-selling Performance Package, plus it has the Ultra Premium Body Wash, the Ultra Premium 2-in-1 Shampoo and Conditioner, and Ultra Premium Deodorant. It's the best way to smell fresh from your Santa hat to your candy cane. The Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer and the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer feature proprietary advanced skin-safe technology to protect your delicate parts. Plus, both are waterproof, so there's no issue clearing snow out of your driveway. There's also a 4000K LED light on it, so you can light the way like Rudolph. Now that you've groomed your candy cane, it's time to make sure you don't smell like a reindeer with the Platinum Package's shower products. All of Manscaped's shower gear is sulfate-free, vegan, and made to have your skin feeling hydrated and smelling fresh. But smelling good doesn't stop at the shower. The Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner can solve stank problems all day long. Once they touch your sack, you'll never go back. The Platinum Package 4.0 sitting under the tree is guaranteed to put anyone in the holiday spirit. And for the perfect stocking stuffer, add in the brand new Body Buffer, an incredible body scrubber that makes exfoliating easy and a lot cleaner than that old loofah. So get 20% off and free shipping, but you got to use our promo code AFC North Talk, AFC North Talk, all one word. You see at the bottom of your screen there at manscaped.com.
Also, big shout out here to our top tier, Adam Holland, Dom Gazulu. Thank you for joining the Patreon. Thank you for doing the top tier. Oh, to all the patrons, we have had great conversations, great videos. The vibe is awesome. So shout out to all of you, but specifically Adam Holland, Dom Gazulu. Thank you for supporting us. Okay.
Oh, I forgot to talk about one thing on the Bengals game.
Right.
My favorite kicker.
Thank you, boy. I saw it's at the point to where I hear it when he misses a kick. I'm like, here comes Tony talking about Shanky boy.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say that. I just said my favorite kicker. That's all.
I thought it was gonna be the gritty on the punt.
That was great.
Yeah, the gritty's got to go, man. The gritty's got to go.
Once that we hit peak gritty, when Baker Mayfield makes a gritty look bad, that's just if Baker hits a gritty, that's when I'm like, all right.
That's one where I heard Quincy just like, how the hell you gonna gritty on the goddamn punt return.
When I put on, I'm like, no way he gritty. A punt coverage. You out here celebrating a punt. You just got off the field, son. You play wide receiver. What are you celebrating? Get a first down. Celebrate those. Talking about, yeah, you didn't even punt the ball. You didn't even make a play to stop the ball. You're watching somebody else's work because you literally couldn't get a first down. And you're sitting here like, yeah, I'm a gritty during this, make my team look stupid, and let a 99-yard drive from Baker Mayfield happen. He's done that twice in his career. You are now number 2. Congratulations, the Raiders, dog. It could not have happened to a more incompetent mess of a team because you hired the fraud man, and the fraud man doing what the fraud man does, making sure them checks clear, but them games don't go the way you want it to. Can't believe. Just people believed in that man, and then he got players out here gritty and during punts. You should be cut. Okay.
Ace, it will be Cowboys versus Bengals in the Super Bowl.
Hey, 1 week at a time, Nandy.
Okay, now let's not get crazy. The Cowboys aren't getting to the Super Bowl. Let's not get crazy.
You said last year was the year of the Tiger, but it's a little early, bro. I know you have dreams and visions, but let's slow down 1 week at a time.
Ace,
you hit that.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
What if you get to the Super Bowl, you play the Vikings, and Kirk Cousins goes off?
You play the Vikings.
Like, what if you're the one Kirk Cousins? Like, would you rather have gotten eliminated by the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game to get there and get beat by Kirk Cousins? Like, I'm not talking beat. I'm talking embarrassed by Kirk Cousins. Like, he come
embarrassed by Kirk Cousins.
They paid Manning against the Seahawks.
Yeah, like Kirk Cousins cements his legacy as a Hall of Famer on you, dog. Like,
that would be nasty. That would be pretty nasty.
But I was going to save this for the Patreon, but I just want to take a victory lap on the Giants because
fake good.
I'm saying it. I literally say it every single week on the Patreon.
I mean, if
the
you
world's
say
fakest freaking team of all time.
Tony, you don't have the worst fake good take on this podcast. Okay, I have the worst fake good take, which is Michigan is not good, despite the fact that they are the number 2 team in the country about to be in the playoffs.
Michigan's not good. No, Michigan is.
I don't think they're good,
no,
but
they're
like,
they're
I can't
bullies,
not say
they're
they're good. You know what I mean?
Nah,
but like,
they're just bullies.
Yeah,
they lost their running back, right? Their running back ain't coming back either.
Yeah,
they're not
they got
good.
Another kid, Edwards, that's good, just as good.
Like, they have nobody. Well, I'm not gonna say that they got players I would draft, but like, I don't know.
No, they have good players, but they just have that bully mentality. They wouldn't beat Bama. Like, there's no way they're not going to beat Georgia.
No, they wouldn't beat Bama. They wouldn't beat Ohio State again, even though they did it already.
No, they would beat Ohio State again because Ohio State is.
Yeah, man. I'm not. Look,
there's a word that I'm not going to use on this show.
Yeah, look, my dad's a big Ohio State fan. He's coming to visit during that game, and I might be there. And I'm trying to find ways to let that man down easy before he watches that game. I'm like, make it about the weekend, Dad. Don't make it about the game.
Who is it? Play TCU, Michigan?
Yeah.
TCU, Michigan, yeah.
Okay, and then Ohio State against Georgia?
Yeah.
Yo, boy. I'm so happy that TCU's not playing Georgia because that poor kid would die. Okay. Max Duggan would die.
We got robbed, though. We should get to see Michigan, Ohio State again in the playoff. That
you know what I mean? And if we should have just, let Alabama slip through because that's what we wanted. You know what
I mean? If you're going with the best 4 teams, I mean, Alabama's better than TCU, but TCU is undefeated, so you can't.
It's at least safe to let Alabama play Georgia.
I know, it'll be fun to watch that again.
Okay. That being said, let's talk about.
No, that's it, right? We're done for the day. Thanks everybody for
other matches.
We're gonna spend at least 30 good minutes on this Mitchell Trubisky, dog.
And I know Steelers fans. Look, as soon as our second string quarterback went out, y'all like it's over because it was a tight game, right? There's like if you're winning by a lot and you are down to your backup quarterback, you can say, well, we have a padding here so we can manage the game and hopefully get a victory. But no, this game was by 6, I believe, when Huntley went out. And then here comes undrafted rookie out of Oregon. So I know how you are Steelers fans were thinking, we got this. I know Tony was already a new terrible towel asking me, Sonny, how can I send this towel to a military base over there in the middle of nowhere, Europe?
No, you're fine. No, trust me, there's terrible towels on the base for you. Don't worry about that.
And the other thing, his first place is on the 1, back in the end zone. And what does they do? Tony, what was the first play of the undrafted rookie? Do you remember?
It was a curl route to Demarcus Robinson. Was it Robinson or was it Jackson?
Doesn't matter. It was a pass call by a guy that had never touched the NFL field. He wasn't even on the roster. He was a practice squad guy. Tony, I want to know, before I go through all the elements of this game, I want to know.
He got outplayed by Anthony Brown.
I mean, here's the thing. Okay, what do you want to know? What do you want to know? Because I have to tell you, I'm a legit not nihilist about this game.
I want to know what happened, and I'll give you my take, but I want to know.
This game, okay, first I want to give props to the Ravens because I know Ravens fans are like, oh, Tony's, I saw someone already do it. Tony's downplaying the loss. Look, this is a great win for the Ravens. If you're a Ravens fan, you definitely should take your victory laps. You should take multiple victory laps today because let me tell you something. If the shoe were on the other foot, okay, if the Steelers beat the Ravens with their third string quarterback, I would make every joke we might even have like a guest appearance. So take your victory lap. But the problem for me, like Q, I'm actually jealous of Q today. Q's there going like, oh man,
Yeah, I get that. I was about to say we both wanted the same thing last week, and exactly. I'm the only one who got it.
And you only got to see it. And this is the thing that pisses me off, right? Is okay. So I got to sit here today, and we got to let's break down the film of Mitch Trubisky. I don't care, right? I mean, legitimately, I don't care. What happened in this game is meaningless. If they won the game, it's meaningless. Okay, this is a absolutely meaningless game of football for the Pittsburgh. What did I learn today? Okay, I had this opportunity. I had this game circled for the last month because this Steeler offense just kept looking back. Top 10. Oh, are they top 10 in EPA over the last month? Oh, and now I can see them go up against a good defense, a Ravens defense that's played the Steelers well year after year. Right? Okay, let's see Kenny in that moment. This is a home game for him, so it's it's Kenny's best chance to have a good game against Baltimore. I get to learn some things about Kenny coming out of this. I get to learn some things about the offense, about Matt Canada, about how they're going to treat situations like this. Right? So let's see it. And the worst part about it, not just that he got hurt, three plays in, bang, he's hurt. It's the fact that there was meat on the bone. Mitch Trubisky went out there, and there was clearly yards to be had. There was clearly a game that Kenny Pickett could have had. Would he have had that kind of game? Would he have thrown the same interceptions? Would he have thrown the same? Would he have had any success? I have no friggin' idea. Instead of being able to come on here today and break down for good or for bad what happened with Kenny Pickett, I got this big zero. I got this big Mitch Trubisky went out there and he looked great right up until it mattered when he just intercept. The other idea that keeps getting flown around Twitter, and I don't, the fact that people are arguing about this, right? Mitch was aggressive. No, Mitch was aggressive. I liked Mitch because he was aggressive. Okay, there's between aggression and stupidity. Mitch was aggressive, and I did like the fact that he made some aggressive throws. But don't say the interceptions were because he was too aggressive. He didn't see the linebackers on either play. He did not even see them in his picture. Okay, Mitch Trubisky cannot read a defense, especially when it's those zone cover 2 looks. That's my problem coming out of this one. It hurts. Okay, it hurts because obviously there was this outside chance of the playoffs. And yes, if the Steelers had won this one and Kenny was coming back, okay, potentially that dream stays alive. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing that sucked about this one.
What I want to know is more not to interrupt you, is okay, I understand the offense. You can't say anything about the offense, right?
Yeah.
But on the defensive side,
that's what I was going to say. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They got smashed defensively in a game where everyone knew they were going to run the ball, right? It's this is the most demoralizing thing that could happen to your team, which is, they're going to run the ball. We know you're going to run the ball. Everybody knows. So we're all in agreement. You're running the ball? Yes, we're running the ball. And then you are helpless to stop them. The thing with the Steeler defense this year, they've been better against the run this year. I mean, we talked all offseason, they're going to fix the run defense. Okay, it's better. They're not a horrific run defense anymore, but they're very much a bully when it comes to run defense, right? They will bully a lot of teams in run defense, and that's what's kind of gotten them through. But there have been a couple games this year. What's the best way to stop a bully? Punch back. And when teams punch back this year, the Steelers have had no answer. You go back to week 2 against New England. This very same thing happened in week 2. The Patriots came out at the end of that game and said, listen, we're running right down your throat, and we're putting this game away. 6-minute drive for the Patriots at the end of that one to put that game away. Browns, same thing in week 3, right? Listen, guess what? Nick Chubb all day long on you. and it was all week. Oh, we're going to stop. No, they couldn't do it. Same thing here, right? The Ravens came out like, guess what? We're the more physical team. We're punching you in the mouth, and let's see what happens. And the Steelers wilted. Yeah, but here's the problem I have, Sonny. Right? So season's over now. Steeler defense wilts, but the problem is all the people that like you're like, man, this guy really sucked today. It's like, yeah, I mean, Devin Bush won't be on the team next year, right? Like Larry Ogunjobi won't be on the team next year. Montrevious Adams likely won't be on the team next year. So like that front seven was likely already going to go through a rebuild anyway. And that's why it's like, again, I come through. It's like, oh, the run defense sucked and Mitch Trubisky sucked. Cool. What do I learn? Like, what are the things that I'm supposed to take away from this game that's supposed to like change the way I have an outlook? There was a version of this game where, for better or for worse, whatever happened with Kenny gives you an outlook on what the future could be. But like I've said this since the break, I don't really care what the defense does. I know where the good players are on the defense, and I know the bad players are probably not going to be here anyway next year because there's going to be a lot of retooling. So that's why, again, football nihilist. Football is meaningless.
For me,
the game is meaningless.
Sunny. For me, I was surprised because Q talks here sometimes that the Browns have not been efficient running the ball, and I think that's how the Ravens been all year. They are a good running team, but not an efficient team. And Tyler Huntley is not even close to what Lamar is on the running side, right? He's not as explosive. He can get you some yards, but definitely not as explosive. So I was like, okay, so with Huntley, it's not like he's going to get better the ball. Before the game starts, the day before, we know J.K. Dobbins going to be activated. Marcus Williams. I was like, okay, this is good. This is good. Good news. But J.K., when he came back, right, pre getting hurt again, he looked okay. This game was, if you go back, the O-line was blocking well. But what he was patient. Basically, where the O-line was blocking, the Steelers were just crashing there. And then he just like, oh, a hole just open to the right, boom, 6-7 yards, right? And he kept that. And look, he's not fast, at least not at the moment. Like, Minka got him there. If he had the angle that he had, Minka should never caught him. But
it was weird. I thought he was going to cut back inside, but he just
you can see him. He also, if you go back, look at him running. He almost looks stiff as he's running.
Yeah,
like he looks stiff running the ball. But at the same time, on the run plays, he was also shifty, like making people miss in that first line of attack. Gus Edwards did his thing. So what I was surprised about the Ravens more than anything, the game plan was, let's run the ball efficiently, which happened. They were passing the ball decently with Huntley. Once Brown came, right? Again, I was shocked when they attempted the throw. I was telling Tony here before the show that when they snapped the ball, I thought they were going to do a QB sneak or something, right? Just let us get
on the goal line. On the goal line.
On the goal line.
They pinned him at the goal line after the interception.
So Huntley goes off. Mitch Trubisky attempts that long pass, right? Marcus Williams intercepts it. We get the ball on the 1 yard line because they said the momentum cannot carry you down. He had I had no problem with the call, by the way. 2 feet on the 1 yard before he go to the end. So fine. But you're telling an undrafted rookie that has not had a snap with the team that he's not even snapping the ball with the first or second team because Lamar's kind of practicing limited practice. So you have Huntley, you have Lamar, and you have this kid in the practice squad that is getting less reps, right? Well, you're going to be in your own goal line, and you're going to attempt a pass. And I was telling Tony, I can't remember who, but somebody came free from the Steelers. I think it might have been Hayward. I don't know. Somebody came free straight to him, and at that moment, I said, oh, I was like, this is it. I thought it was going to be a safety, right? And then we would have been up by...
I was probably thinking the same thing.
I was like,
this is it. Had a good run.
Because the problem is, what is my faith on this undrafted rookie, right? What is your faith? And then he completed a 5-yard curl route to, I think it was Robinson, right? And I was like, okay, there's some space. And then he moved the ball just enough to us to turn the field a little bit, right? And then we made the punt.
This was a block field goal after that. That was when the Steelers.
Yeah.
By the way, the Steelers, oh my God, their special teams in this game. They had, so we talk about complimentary football a lot. We talk about complimentary.
Your
Complimentary
punter's
football.
good though. Your punter's good. I don't know why people are booing.
Yeah,
him.
yeah, the punter's great.
Punter is great.
So they're without complimentary football, right? Which is your offense helping your defense, your special teams, right? Everybody helping each other, you know. Steelers went 3 and out, then had a 17-yard punt, and then allowed a 2-play touchdown. So it was pretty cool, complimentary football there. Really all sides working together of like, what's the worst thing we could do offensively? How about 3 and out? What's the worst thing we could do on the punt? How about 17 yards where the ball literally like the amount of backspin on that ball? No, I mean that it was actually like it was actually impressive. Yeah, I was gonna say it was impressive.
It was
how
like
bad it was.
It was like he was kicking cornhole. You know what I mean? Like
And then really, it should have been a 1-play touchdown because I mean Minka had no business making that tackle on JK in the open field. I thought he was just gone.
Yeah.
So
it was a great angle Minka took on him.
Yeah.
I saw
Minka's still our best run defender, and that's like the saddest thing right now is Minka's still a great run defender.
Yeah, I saw somebody talk about like JK would have been gone if he was healthy or something like that. I'm like, nah, Minka got the angle on him. Like,
I thought he could have switched it up on Minka and like you're in the way.
No, Minka broke down right at the perfect time to where he could square up and everything. It was a great play by him.
He tried.
It didn't matter because they scored 3 plays later. That's
one play later.
Well, it was the next play.
It was JK.
It was JK.
It was JK again. Yeah.
So, but saying that. Now, on the interceptions, look, I think actually Roquan was a great interception. I agree that Mitch didn't see neither of those guys, but those 2 guys went and high point the ball for a middle linebacker is impressive when a middle linebacker does it, right? We have seen Wilson done that in the past as well. The what?
Remember, he had that one-handed interception. You talking about the GOAT, Logan Wilson, at those interceptions. You talk about high pointing, you think of Logan Wilson.
So,
straight up.
Roquan does lead the league in interceptions by a linebacker right now.
Yeah, but they don't look as good.
That's matter.
Yeah. They don't look as good. You know what I mean? He is social media
just doing that this year? Oh, Logan was doing that last year. No.
Does it matter anymore, though?
Who's younger, though?
I don't know. That's a good question.
That's a good question. Because Logan stay in college a little bit.
Oh yeah, because Roquan definitely was in and out of Georgia.
Yeah, he was 3 years.
No, Roquan, that was pre-NIL.
The only guy in Georgia that's allowed to stay for 4 years is the dude that's been there for like 7, and that's Stenson Bennett.
Okay, but saying that both
linebackers older than Lamar Jackson, by
the way. Queen was even better. He jumped high point that ball. I was shocked. I was legit shocked when he made the play. I did not know it was Patrick Queen. Patrick had a good game, although he missed that 1 sack, and then Roquan came and cleaned it up.
That's why Roquan's there.
But I would say
Patrick Queen.
But I would say here it's also on the Mitch case, and I know Tony, you don't care. But what surprised me about Mitch, which I don't know, I was telling you, I don't know if Kenny would have done the same thing, is when we were bringing pressure, Mitch would stay there. He was like, you know what? They're going to truck me. They're going to kill me here. I don't care. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to stay put. And I'm going to deliver. Right? But that's how the big plays happen. All the big plays happen on pressure. It wasn't like the 1 pick. True. But the 1 pick happened. I don't even remember if they were pressuring that one. I don't think they did. But on the other big plays, it happened on pressure. And Marlon Humphrey, I was telling this to Tony, Marlon Humphrey had his worst game by far, as I remember him in a Baltimore Ravens uniform.
Cooked.
That was his fault. He said, I got cooked. And he did. So he needs to clean whatever. What it seemed to me was he was afraid when he was playing one-on-one on him, which is surprising, on hitting him, right? Like jamming him. And so he let Pickens go clean release, and after that it was just done. He was done. It happened twice in this game, and then I think it happened once on Deontay as well. He didn't have a great game. The D lineman though, because I know Najee Harris is the next coming of Jesus in the running back rooms, right? It's the up and coming amazing running back. He was running all over this thing.
The second half, kind of ball all over.
I thought you were going to take a victory lap on the Najee Harris thing. You certainly are willing to. Although, I mean, the Steelers were literally in Ravens territory on every single drive. So shutting down Najee Harris did wonders for that Ravens defense.
I mean,
clearly.
Look at this. You guys knew we were running. You guys knew we were running. There was no.
Oh, I'm not trying to defend the Steelers' run defense. No. What I'm saying is that the Ravens' run defense didn't help their pass defense. And would be the argument. The Steelers' offense was very efficient. And going to your Kenny point, by the way, Kenny's been very good against the blitz. His numbers against the blitz are like one of the best in the league. I believe he has no interceptions, like 75% completion percentage against the blitz. So it's the hardest part for me with this game is that it's like, it's like an empty feeling. Because like I'm not going to sit here and argue Trubisky. I don't care about Trubisky. Trubisky's not going to be on the team 9 months from now, and the season is over now. The point of this game was like you needed to get a good look at Kenny again, and this was like his best opportunity to put up good film against a good team in a favorable situation. The next time these two teams play, and we'll see if Kenny's even playing. I mean, Kenny has a second concussion. This is a second diagnosed concussion in 6 weeks. Ooh. So it's possible that, or is it 8 weeks? It's something like that, 6 or 8 weeks. But I mean, it's possible they just shut him down.
Two concussions in 1 year is not good. Yeah.
No, I mean, people were freaking out because Freiermuth had 2 in 2 years. Kenny's got 2 in a year. I mean, it's not as bad as
like a month and a half because of concussion. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I wonder if they just shut Kenny down at this point.
Last thing I will tell you, Tony,
and then maybe Mason comes in
because you mentioned this before. And I do think Warren, when he ran, he had 3 carries, but when he ran, I thought he looked more explosive. He did.
Warren had his best. No, Warren's best one was a catch and run.
Yeah, he had a catch and run.
Yeah, he had that catch and run. That was he like broke a couple tackles.
Something like that. I saw that. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about Jalen Warren.
Jalen Warren's good.
Play more.
Well, that set up the touchdown. That was on 3rd and 8, right?
Yeah.
Short pass, and 3 Ravens took horrible angles, and he basically bait them all 3 to the right, and he went to the left.
They took great angles. Jalen Warren's just too good.
By the way, this podcast love affair with backup running backs is unhealthy. You know what I mean?
Backup quarterbacks, backup running backs. We still have backups.
We celebrate Kareem Hunt. We celebrate Jalen Warren. And we celebrate J.K. Dobbins, who is the backup running back of the Ravens.
No, he's not.
Oh, who's the starter? You want to say who the starter is or no? You want to leave?
I'm going to let Cat handle that one. So, yeah. I'm going to let Cat go with that one. I'm just saying he's second in carries. Is he? I don't even know if that's true.
No, that's not true.
It's usually true though.
The top carries. JK came off the IR and got 120 on the Swiss cheese defense.
What happened to TJ?
Yeah,
that's
another one you might need to shut him down. I think you probably shut him down, right? I mean, he looks not right.
He should. Well, he had a sack late in the game on a pocket collapsing. It wasn't he made the play.
But it wasn't like a one-on-one though.
Yeah.
Brown out there status still because he's scared.
I want to know. I mean, I guess he's hurt because I know he's been on the injury report on and off. I want to know what the hell happened to Miles Jack because he didn't play in this game. He split with Spillane. And Devin Bush got like 9. So Devin Bush played like 100% of the snaps.
And the 2 times Miles Jack got in, he got ran over by Tyler Huntley.
Yeah, that was fun when he kind of got run over.
Yeah. And then that was like Miles Jack with the big hit. I'm like, brother's getting off the ground. He got hit.
He must be hurt because they put Spillane in for a long time, which is interesting because you would think that Spillane's a better run defender there. Spillane though, I mean, there's some bad tape of Spillane in this game. I saw Kazora.
Well, what I saw from the linebackers, Tony, I don't know if you saw the same thing. It was they were taking the wrong read, as I was saying. Well, actually, not even the wrong read. There was no discipline. It was basically. They saw JK get the ball, and they will all crash into basically wherever Ricard sometimes was going. And then JK will be like, "Oh man, look at that hole over here! Everybody's here. Let me just go down."
I don't know. I mean, I thought it looked to me like the Ravens were running a lot of gap stuff, especially late in the game. It was all gap stuff, and the ones. Okay, so the plays that I've seen the all 22 of, and that they're probably all in the late in the game. I mean, it was a lot of gap stuff in between. Who's your right guard? Linderbaum and your right guard.
The right guard was rotating.
Seiler, right?
Seiler was out, remember? And it was between Tristan Colon, backup center, and the backup guard, Ben Cleveland. They were rotating all game.
I saw Ogunjobi got washed out on one. Cam was awful on that touchdown. I don't know.
Linderbaum. They were putting Cam on Linderbaum. They were putting
Cam at nose a lot. They don't have the Steelers for whatever reason. This whole bet. I mean, they're still paying for the loss of Tuitt. Really, I mean, if you want to break down like what happened, they're still paying for the loss of Tuitt because I know they bet that he was coming back. He didn't. Obviously, he retired before minicamp. But they're also their other bet this year was that Tyson Alualu at 35 years of age was going to come back and still be the same run defender he was back in 2020. Tyson Alualu is not even getting on the field at this point. So so then they're running like,
he's still on the team.
Yeah, Alualu's still on the team. He doesn't play. They're putting Cam at nose. They're putting Montravius Adams at nose. Wormley played a lot in this one.
Defensive linemen. I'm not sure if they're on the team or not, but they always be there. Like it'd be Alualu, Isaiah Buggs.
Now Buggs is on the Lions and good, by the way. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Isaiah Buggs is on the Lions and got good. Yeah.
And then who was the dude Isaiah Buggs fought on the sideline for playing time?
Yeah, he fought with one of the Davis brothers. I think it was Khalil. Maybe it was Carlos. I'm not 100%.
Carlos Davis. Yeah, it's Carlos Davis. It's like it used to be back in the day. It was what was Brett Kiesel. He would always not be on the team, but be on the damn team. Like every time somebody gets hurt, we signed Brett Kiesel.
Use a Brett Kiesel again, man.
I hate it, Kiesel.
They need one of these young guys to pop. The Steelers need one of those young. They've taken 2 defensive linemen in the last couple of years. Leal and Loudermilk, and they need one of those guys to pop, or they're going to have to go back to the well in this draft.
But one thing, let me add this, and with this, I'm going to go to Ace because I know Ace has been waiting. They did put Cam Hayward on the nose because they did want to test Linderbaum, right? They said shorter center, smaller center, rookie center. Mm-hmm. Hayward is a huge man, right? He's a big dude, strong dude. Tyler Linderbaum held his own.
He got lucky for one game. We'll see what happens next time.
He got lucky. Okay, Ace, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, for me in this game, I think I went in saying that the Steelers were going to win. That was me assuming, right, that Kenny Pickett would finish this game. As soon as Kenny Pickett went out, it just seemed like, and I think even with that saying, I think I said something like, if the Ravens do win this game, even with Kenny, the defense would have to go crazy, right? And I think the defense did do that in this game. You talk about the 3 interceptions. They were just humming on defense. You saw the energy from that defense. Marcus Peters, Marlon Humphrey, guys celebrating when they made stops. I mean, they were on one, I think, in this game, and they were at crucial points. As Tony kind of the football, nihilist alluded to?
Yeah.
A lot of those turnovers were in the red zone. That was crucial, right? Those were key points in the game. Where they got those. Then they end up losing their quarterback during the game as well. So it was kind of a weird one, but it was kind of towards the end of the game. So when the guy came in, the defense stepped up and stopped Pittsburgh at the end. And then once the rookie got the ball back, he was able to make sure that they converted with a Gus Edwards first down to kind of wrap the game up. The other big guy in this game, one thing that I didn't see coming was the Ravens shredding that Steelers run defense. Like the Steelers run defense had been pretty solid for most of the year. J.K. Dobbins came back and did his thing. And when it mattered, they were still able to get that first down at the end of the game. I would be thinking, if I'm a Steelers fan, 3rd and 4, I know that they're running. I've got them where I want them, and they just let them get the first down there at the end. For me, Mitch Trubisky, he turned back in the Chicago Bears, Mitch Trubisky, in this game. He was just, you get a pick, and you get a pick. But I will say the Ravens were able to capitalize, and I think that they're just good at winning games. One of the things, though, that worries me about the Ravens is how long can they sustain, closing out these games in these situations. Is this something sustainable, especially when you got a guy like Deshaun coming down? It really reminds me of the Steelers the year that they went 11-0, right? We watched those games. There were games that we felt like they could have lost, should have lost, but they ended up pulling out the victory. We have to see how long they can sustain this. I think the defense is playing well, but I've got to see more from the offensive side. Hopefully they get Lamar back, but I think the run game was on point. I just expected them to have a little bit more points in this game. But all you had to do in this game, especially with it being a rivalry, especially with it being Ravens and Steelers, you know that this is going to be a tough game. You know that it's going to be a close one regardless of the circumstances. I think they came out into this game, got a victory that a lot of people didn't see them getting, because this one was in Pittsburgh, correct? This was in Pittsburgh on the road. This is huge for them to get this win, especially despite the circumstances. As Tony said, as a Steelers fan, you got to be thinking, how can I actually give an evaluation on this game? Because Kenny Pickett didn't even play in this game, so I didn't even get to see Kenny Pickett versus that kind of Ravens defense. But Ravens, I think you have to give them credit for going in there, forcing those turnovers, closing out the game despite the circumstances, because they did lose their quarterback during this game. They still were able to push through and come out with a victory. So big win for them. I just want to see, can they keep holding up in these situations? Are they going to keep making it out? Because you saw this one this week, then it was the Broncos one the week before. So can they maintain that? I think it depends on if they get Lamar Jackson back. Now, with both of these guys being concussed from these games for both teams, you have to wonder, are those guys going to be back for their respective teams for the following week? So is Kenny going to be back for the next Steelers game so you can continue to evaluate that? Is Lamar returning, or are we going to be with this third string guy for the next game against Deshaun Watson? So we'll have to see how those plan out. But I think that the Ravens did what they were supposed to do, which is try to get a win in a game that most people before the game didn't see you winning. But despite the circumstances, you were able to pull out a victory. So I think that that was big for the Ravens.
By the way, Q, Lamar is probably not playing next week. Huntley we don't know. And we did
They said
sign
he's out till at least Christmas, right? That was the report.
Christmas Eve, yeah. And then the next game so we have Brown, right? And the backup quarterback to him, which is new practice squad member.
Who y'all got this time?
Huntley, the kid that was on Green Bay.
Brett
Huntley? Green
Huntley.
Bay?
Yeah,
the original Huntley? The one
Huntley
where I was like,
won.
they got Brett. I thought that was who Tyler Huntley was originally.
The whole time.
Brett Huntley,
that's what
dog.
you
The
thought it was.
hype for Brett Huntley before the 2013 draft was crazy. He came back to school. He was at UCLA, right? He came back to school and his draft stock tanked. He has the worst people around him making decisions. He could have gotten the first round in 2013, I think.
I
right?
would say they should go for someone like Cam, but Cam's probably still got his ego
Cam
thing,
ain't
thinking that
coming
he's
in
not a
late.
backup.
And no, because remember, we're signing him to the practice squad.
Mhm.
So legit, the Ravens can go to the Browns on Saturday, and both quarterbacks can be elevated players from the practice squad to be the two active quarterbacks.
I'm worried
But
about
how
what that
great
means
would it have
for the
been though
game plan.
if let's imagine a world where Baker got cut this week.
And he's there. No, they would have
And then
signed
the
him.
Ravens claim him.
I don't know if John Harbaugh's the one that was signed.
Have they said anything about should the Ravens sign Cam? Have those
No.
rumors came out yet?
No. I think people are hoping Lamar plays this week, but I doubt it. He plays.
You know where y'all got screwed? The 49ers got Josh Johnson, and that's the go-to, in
That's
these
true.
situations.
He
You got to
did
get
last
Josh
year.
Johnson.
He did last year.
Once you down to it's look, there are four strings in the NFL: first, second, third, and then Josh Johnson. He is that for every team in the NFL. If you go down to your fourth string quarterback, Josh Johnson automatically plays for your team that week.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that they would have brought Josh Johnson.
Oh
You
yeah,
guys should trade for Mason.
Josh
How great would it
Johnson
be
would
for
be
like
crazy.
Mason?
dog.
Or
He's
Mitch.
played for every team in the North.
Every team.
Nah, Josh Johnson.
Has he not been on the Steelers?
Not been on
He wasn't like the backup
only
when
get
Vic was there for like half a day.
We got Doc. Okay, we got great quarterbacks in our history.
Oh yeah, you got what's his name? He's made a career out of being the backup quarterback. Charlie Batch.
Charlie
he's the
Batch
OG.
was there
OG.
literally forever. Yep.
So the one thing
Iron
is,
left
I
leg.
think a guy that the Ravens might kick the tires. I think he's in the practice squad right now of the Cardinals. Trey McSorley. We used to have him here.
Trace.
Yeah,
Oh,
Trace McSorley.
I remember when people were telling me that
Wanna-
Trey should start over Lamar Jackson. That was when the Raven fans were in true hell, dog, in 2018.
And yet we won the division that year. Anyway, Q, what do you thought of this game?
Sonny remembered the arguments.
No, I remember people were like hating life.
I was at training camp and somebody was making like in real life made that argument
That's
to
right.
me.
That's why we went together to that training camp. Yeah.
Somebody was like, I don't know, man. It feel like Trace got it. I'm like, no, he don't. Dog, it was so obvious Trace didn't have it.
You know
All
what?
right.
Because Trace in Penn State was exactly how that kid in TCU is for TCU. Like he will do anything for first down, right? Even though he has a collapse.
Trace does everything Lamar Jackson can do 2 times slower. You know what I mean? Like just
sure.
everything slow with comparatively. But yeah, this was Mitch Trubisky was like, you know what, man? When I saw that this game on the condensed game version was 35 minutes, I knew I was in for a treat. I knew something crazy had to happen for both teams to decide to squeeze this thing out as quick as possible. How bad was the quarterback play early in this game? And then Kenny Pickett went out. And then Mitch Trubisky came, and I'm like, he's balling. Why was Tony? Oh, and then he kept coming back and throwing more interceptions. And I was just like, dog, on that drive, there was one drive where I know what happened on the sideline when he went to the iPad. They told that man, first read, check down, nothing in between. Okay. Because he went 1-2, no, or 1-2 through the ball. Like it was like clockwork. And I think that was after the second interception before the third, or was that after the third? No, I feel like that was in between the second and third interception. Just shout out to Mitch Trubisky. Like I thought the days of being able to watch Carson Wentz were over, but he brought it back, baby. He brought Carson Wentz to Pittsburgh today because that was peak Carson Wentz. That was a peak Carson because he was so good in between them. And that was a Baker Mayfield game. Remember when I was like, yo, Baker's trash because I had to argue that between those 4 interceptions he threw against Green Bay, he actually played well. That's where I gave up on everything about Baker Mayfield. And that's what Mitchell Trubisky did. You could legitimately argue in between those interceptions, he did play good because he was balling in between those interceptions. But boy, did he throw those interceptions. There were if correct me if I'm wrong, none of those were tipped balls.
No.
They were all cleanly caught.
Yeah.
Clean, right to him. Put
Who
it right
would have
on the
thought
money.
Jacoby Brissett would have been the best free agent quarterback signing out of everybody? And it's not, nope, Geno wasn't signed. Maybe, yeah, Jacoby Brissett. Is he the best free agent quarterback signing?
What do you mean Geno wasn't signed? Oh, Geno was on the team already.
Yeah, Geno was on the team already. He wasn't a free agent.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, by far.
No, Baker's the best. Baker's the best signing. Man,
I ain't gonna go there with y'all, man. Should the Steelers have signed Baker Mayfield when he became available?
Yeah, no, he should have. Now he could be the backup next year. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somebody got to mentor Kenny Pickett. But
you can think of a better player.
Yeah, there's not much to take away from this game, right? Because sure, I have this running take on the Ravens that the check engine light is on, similar to what I was saying with the 11-0 Steelers, who ended up winning 12 games that year. I thought the check engine light was on the whole season. But I can't sit here and judge the Ravens for not scoring a bunch of points in a game where Anthony Brown played a good chunk of it. Okay, like that's just, you got to win at that point when you're down to your third string quarterback. And they did a good enough job doing that. They took advantage of mistakes that Pittsburgh gave them. And they were able to execute enough on offense to get them points scored. Like that's really all you have to do. You know what I mean? There are certain teams in the NFL where 20 points is enough, or at least getting close to 20 is enough. There's the Buccaneers, there's Steelers, and if things keep going the way the last 2 weeks, it might be the Browns. But there are when you play those teams, you have to make sure you take advantage of those opportunities. And they did that. Not really much to say here. I mean, like, what I can't give the Ravens defense too much credit for holding the Steelers down when Mitch Trubisky is playing this badly, because yes, they made the plays to make the interceptions, but boy, did Mitch help. You know what I mean? Like, so I still think the same problems with the Ravens exist. It'd be interesting to see how they match up against the Browns, and what the game plan is, because I am kind of worried that the Ravens are just going to run the ball 400 times against the Browns, and that's probably going to work, right? So we'll see what happens in Cleveland next week. But yeah, there's not much to take away from this. I would have liked to see Kenny Pickett, see what he could do in there, to see if I'm wrong about him. But, nobody wants it. The only thing that could be worse for Tony is if this was Mason Rudolph, and I don't even know if that's true, because I think
I was sad. No, I was sad that Mason wasn't active, because you guys know, look.
I'm about to say, because at least Mason, hey,
during training camp, Mason reinvented himself this year, and the sad part about this again. Yeah, it's like exactly. It was like, look, he knows where to go. He's not aggressive at all, but he's so decisive. It's just bang, bang.
Well, Tony, there is
on time and on target. On time, on target.
You might see Mason Rudolph next week. I'm just saying. Like, I don't think Mitchell Trubisky has a lot of room for error after 3 interceptions. The only thing that kept him on the field was the fact that he was the only active quarterback at that point.
I was watching Zach Gentry. Listen, Steeler fans were throwing Zach Gentry high school tape out there because Zach Gentry, our backup tight end, is also
Dog. If he felt like
emerged
somebody
quarterback.
could hand the ball off sufficiently, he would have went to them.
Mhm.
Like, not
Well,
even
the
throw the
problem is you
ball.
couldn't. I don't know that you could take Mitch out because even after the third interception, I mean, it was very clear. Like Mitch is playing really well. Like he's moving the ball. He just
That
stopped
was
throwing interceptions.
now that I think about it, that was exactly what the Green Bay Baker Mayfield game was because the Browns were in that game until the end. He just kept throwing interceptions.
Right. It's like you couldn't go to Wildcat or anything like that, right? The only thing is you could argue to put Mason in.
I mean,
Because
they had an
Mason's
obvious
you weren't
answer.
gonna go
They
up.
could have just ran it with Jalen Warren instead of like trying to get this whole Najee thing.
Instead of keep doing the Najee
You know what I
thing.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, help your quarterback out and put your best running back in the game.
Put your best foot forward. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Put the running back that he practiced with out there. You know what I mean? That's
even hate on this take.
excuse.
I can't even hate on this take because I've literally been making it since week 1. So
You know what I mean? Like you could have done more. Sure, certainly. But
yeah, that's right. They didn't help him out enough. What is interesting though about this offense, Pickens had another great game, caught everything that went his way. They only threw him the ball 3 times though. And you would think, given how good he's been, like you would design more ways to get the ball in his hands, but they're not. It's very strange.
He's a rookie.
Yeah, he's a rookie.
He's a rookie.
Tom here
give him that. We gave that to AB. He lost his mind. I bet his PTSD going on.
Yeah.
You got to humble this kid. Yeah, I like that. Make sure it doesn't turn into AB.
They are going to play it safe. They are going to stretch out his contract negotiations so long.
Oh, we're skipping the contract negotiations.
Where do you sell your merch the best? Who is it?
NewStripeCity.com. Appreciate that, man. I'm actually there's a DJ Reader shirt that I'm working on. I'm going to try to drop that possibly tonight, so stay tuned for that. NewStripeCity.com.
I
hate that.
see Raleigh here says 25% of the chat seems delusional. Who do you guys think has the best chance of winning the division?
Ooh, I have a hot
also,
take.
it's 9-4 better than 9-4. Thanks, guys. Great show.
Okay, I have a hot take here.
Oops.
The
Okay,
Bengals
yeah, go ahead.
The Bengals are winning the division.
That's not a hot take.
Yeah, I mean, I said that.
Donnie, do your thing again. Do the speech again. Just play it again. Just find it on YouTube and play the speech again.
Yeah, I said that when Lamar got hurt last week. When Lamar got hurt last week, I said, like, well, now what are we going to do?
Wait. Well, no, it's hard now. Y'all got 9 wins.
It would be a disappointment if the Bengals didn't win the division. I mean, they should absolutely. What was your line last year, Sonny? I'm trying to get it like word for word.
That's what it was.
It would be an outright disappointment.
No.
They should break the team up. They should break. I mean, honestly,
no, I did not say that.
You
they
don't
should
win
fire Zach Taylor if they don't win the
like,
Super Bowl
it's
this
a
year.
failure of an
What does Super Bowl or bust mean if he
down.
gets to keep his job? You know what I
That
mean?
part I did not say. I did say that it will be.
Should the Bengals fire Zach Taylor to try to get Sean Payton?
Yeah, I would blow the whole team up. Starting offense.
The thing is, do you want to win this division? Because the runner-up is going to be playing the Titans in the wild card. Do you want that Titans game?
Mad fraudulent, them Titans are.
Wow. So you're like, so you're doing like playoff seeding.
So Ace, I was looking.
You can't beat Tannehill 3 times. You can't beat Tannehill 3 times in a row.
I'm not gonna lie, Ace. I did look into this. So right now the Ravens are sitting in 3rd place, right? And if it finished today, 3rd place will face Miami, right? And then you had the 4th and 5th, which is Titans, which they're pretty much locking themselves in the 4th against whoever doesn't win the North. Is what it looks like, at least at this point. Obviously, the Dolphins have a chance to go to 4th.
Titans, the last few weeks are doing a little free fall.
Well, to be honest, I'm gonna have to eat my crow on the whole.
There are so many fraudulent teams. There are so many.
They got murdered by the Jaguars.
Did you see that one? I know Tony saw this. The Vikings were not favored to beat.
We talked about it a lot on the
time.
In the Patreon.
Yeah.
At the time, 2 games.
We both agreed to take the Vikings, didn't we?
Yeah.
It was like one of our locks because we said, "Come on, 10-win team. They're giving you points. You got it."
Please tell me the Vikings. Please tell me the Lions did it cover.
No, of course, no. They did
cover. They covered by a lot.
Oh, they covered.
It was
-1. They won by 11. Yeah. They were favored by like 1.5 points.
I saw
ladies and gentlemen, that's how fraudulent the
catch for the first down.
Yeah.
Penei Sewell.
Right. Dude, the Penei Sewell memes that were floating around.
Hold my beer.
He's like, yeah, y'all thought y'all made the right choice, but let me get out here and run these routes real quick. Let y'all know.
It was a
300-pound tight end.
Yeah. There were so many great Penei Sewell memes floating around of like the old, remember like Jamar Chase, anybody, Penei Sewell, anybody. There was one great one. Where,
It
like,
worked out
I got a
for
question though.
Penei
Is
Sewell's the
Penei
receiver.
Sewell-
Penei was the receiver.
is Penei Sewell now a better? Is Penei Sewell now a better tight end than Kyle Pitts?
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Oh my god.
There was a great one of like the there was a great one of like the Galaxy Brain one where like it starts with draft Penei Sewell to protect your quarterback and then draft Jamar Chase to convert key third downs, draft Penei Sewell to protect your quarterback and convert key third downs.
Yeah, if Zach Taylor was really a genius, he would have took Penei
Yeah,
Sewell.
that's right.
Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Do it all. Utility guy.
He big slash out there. You know what I mean?
It just continues because when we played the Lions, Jamar Chase had this key block where everyone's like, "Oh, he's lead blocking as well."
There you go. That's awesome.
Put Jamar Chase at tight end and see what happens.
so David here says, "I want to see Q and Sim go at it in spaces." You don't want that. Nobody will get a.
Yeah, we're doing
award.
another spaces this year.
No,
If we get to 10,000 subscribers,
All right, at
we can
10K
do
subs.
another spaces, but we got to get to 10,000 subs.
And if you don't show up to the spaces, you have to eat a hot chip.
stop that. Why do we need to just take hot chip out of AFC North Talk, Lord?
I
I
mean,
think Tony wants to eat the hot chip.
You did it.
Yeah.
You did it.
well,
Tony,
hey,
I'll get you a hot chip for Christmas.
Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Here's
Can't actually
Tony,
do that.
by the
Here's
way,
thing
for
about
the people
chip.
that
It can't
made
be
it
that
late.
spicy. It's
For the people that
overrated,
made it
probably.
late, me and
He
Tony.
wants to eat the chip.
Yeah.
He wants to look, I know what he's trying to angle for. He's trying to opt out. He's trying to opt out of the bet.
I already put the amendment on the table. I would much rather eat the chip than put a
He is
freaking.
trying to create a chip clause, you clever bastard. No, absolutely not about to happen like that.
Sonny,
This
is for
try
you
to get the
this time.
chip clause. Oh, almost worked. It almost worked until I called off.
Chips overrated anyway.
Nah.
Something like this.
I'll eat 2 chips.
Ooh, 2 chips is kind of crazy.
Nah, I'm not trying to send this man to the IR.
Oh, yeah, I might send you this. What do you think?
What is
that'll be
this?
good?
That's fine. Oh, once again, living in the past. We're doing the living in the past thing.
I mean,
You
that's
got
what
like
you
Ray
got by
Lewis
my view.
portraits.
Ken, you got one. You got a Super Bowl within the last 10 years or no? 'Cause,
Yeah.
if you don't, then it's living in the past.
2012.
2012
years
is
ago.
within the
That's 10
last
years
10
ago.
years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
That's
was.
what you said,
2012
within the-
season. Wait, was that
All right,
Super
within-
Bowl in 2000? That was
All right, this
no,
is
that was the
programmer part of my
2012
brain.
season, 2013 Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Programmer part of my brain. Case understands. I was
It is
thinking
exactly
more-
10 years ago, by the way.
Yeah.
All right, well, whatever.
Yes.
under 10 years ago. Under 10 years ago. Under 10 years ago.
Now,
you-
10 or less. Well, 9 years. 9 just doesn't hit the same, Tony. It just
9
doesn't hit.
hit.
It
does
doesn't.
not hit.
It doesn't. And what
Once you
the
get into that
Steelers
double
last
digits, you're talking
championship.
about- There are
was-
people watching this show who literally didn't watch the Ravens.
Dog, the Steelers' last championship was when Larry Fitzgerald was legit a young man. Like, you know what I mean? He was
Right.
he was in his prime, right? Like that's
Tony, you saying that there might be people in the chat that haven't seen the Steelers win a playoff game.
Well, that's
Joey Porter was
we
an
won one in
active
2016.
player the last time.
Listen,
the
we won one in
Steelers-
2016. That's within. Listen, that's well within my 9 years. That's well within the 9 years. Thank you very
Joey
much.
Porter and Bart
Accept your
Scott
apology.
were in the NFL, dog.
By the way, Aaron Jones, Aaron Jakes here says 2 whole chips, none of the half chip nonsense. All right, 2 whole chips. That's it.
No. Aaron Jones doesn't.
I kinda
That
like
young
it,
man does
2
not
chips.
make
2
does not barter the terms here.
No,
Look,
Okay.
here's how we'll do it. As soon as the first one starts to wear off, we go right into the second one. Bang,
No,
bang.
he's trying to create terms that don't exist here.
yeah.
He's trying to create terms.
Come on,
Look,
Chris.
look, man. I want you to make sure. What size
All right.
is? Can you send us in chat, in the Twitter chat, the dimensions of that steel curtain poster? I think we're
Yeah.
gonna work on something about that size.
Yes, that's exactly.
I'll
what
chip
I'm
in, Tony. I'll chip in, Sonny. By the way, I'll chip in.
Okay.
I'll chip in. You know what I mean? Get him. Let's get
All
some
right, you
Ed
guys
Reed
keep
up
doing
there.
that.
Let's
You guys
get
keep
some
doing that.
Ray Lewis
Yeah,
up there.
Classic
We want to
Count Your
get
Money.
we want to get Ray
Count
Lewis
Your
in
Money
full
situation.
car. You know what I mean? Like
Hand's still going. Hand's still going. We still got another game to play. Just so you know. Just so you guys.
I'm just saying, I will be rooting for the Ravens shamelessly.
Mm-hmm.
Shamelessly.
Mm-hmm.
I will be rooting for the Ravens.
Something like
Go
this.
Birds.
Oh, hey,
go.
we got another.
Something like this. In the background over there.
Why don't you get 3 Ravens who have actually won a Super Bowl?
You should find
Eric here.
Tony. Hey, Sonny, you should find a picture.
Those
You
guys
should
are all.
find a
These guys are all
picture.
champs here. These are all champs here.
Every
Hey,
Sonny, you should find a picture of the Ravens the year they beat the Patriots in the playoffs, so like Tom can be in the background too,
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we
in
go.
all his glory.
I like. Oh, by the way, I mean, all of a sudden, Q just a secret Ravens fan. Can you? Put
Oh
up the
yeah,
next
well,
super
I
chat?
mean, the Ravens are
Can
the
you put up
Browns
the
when you
next
think
super
of it.
chat?
The Ravens are just the Browns when you think of it. You know what I mean? We're still related.
Appreciate that, Eric. That's another. We got Aaron and Eric in chat.
Well, guess what?
Let's put a poll up. Sonny,
Eric ain't up here. No poll. This is not a democracy. This is not a democracy. No.
You know what, Sonny? You like to do polls? Let's do a poll.
No poll. No poll. The terms are agreed to. You can't poll your way out of a contract. If Lamar Jackson cannot post on Twitter and be like, "Hey y'all, should I just leave the Ravens and then leave it up to
$5 for 2 chips? Put this on Patreon."
I mean, you can put it on Patreon. It'll be the goddamn thing. You have agreed to terms.
I'm throwing out options.
The options, you throw out options after you sign the contract. So the contract is amended.
Well, I mean, again, the contracts can be amended. Again, we can amend. This is
but you know, I'm not amending them.
We don't have guaranteed contracts on AFC North Talk.
Look, that one. That would be nice.
Ooh, that'd be cool. It's like Ben Hurt.
I actually would go. I actually have one that looks from a color scheme perspective. Well, you probably can't see it but this right here.
It looked like Ray Lewis checking on Big Ben.
That's AB extending over the goal line.
Against the Ravens, I see that.
So that would actually.
I think, Sonny, we need to find something with more purple in it.
More purple. I agree. I agree. That's
more purple.
Yeah,
I like this. Yeah. We're really workshop it there, Q. Big Ravens fans over there.
More
big
purple.
Ravens fans over there.
I'm just saying, I want it to look nice. You know, this is the show. It's going to be a visual part of the show for a very long time.
Yeah. All season, all the off season there,
all the way until you beat them. You know, what I mean, you got to lose the belt.
No, that's not how. Oh, actually, Sonny, do you want to tell about that part of the bet?
So we
did not agree to that.
So we
did not agree to that.
We actually said as soon as the first game of the season started.
Lame,
cute.
Lame. But if that's what y'all agreed to, I have to respect
Sonny, do
those
you want to
terms.
work on this? Can we just do the chip? Let's do the chip.
No.
I don't want any Ravens
lawyer's
back
working
here.
for me here. The lawyer has spoken.
You know what I mean? Look, just hope Lamar Jackson doesn't end up on the Ravens again next year, because like if he doesn't, then you could be like, I want a Lamar picture. You know what I mean? And I might be inclined to vote that direction.
I like putting a Lamar thing while he is in a
while Lamar's playing for like the Dolphins or something
shit, if Lamar holds out after I'll put a Lamar picture back here myself. You don't have to give it to me. I'll buy it myself and put it back here.
I mean, we will all be wearing the new Lamar Jackson jersey.
Man, I have too many Lamar jerseys. I might have to throw some away. Jeff here says Inside Out needs to be the theme of the Steelers off season.
Yes, I don't know. I agree. No. What he means is fix the trenches, right? I mean, it's a classic Sonny line. It's a classic Sonny line.
No, but I forgot. Thank you, because I forgot to I had to praise the O-line. Actually, I think has been playing good, and against the Ravens, I thought they held their own against the pass rush. Right, even when we were blitzing the O-line, it wasn't like there was 3 people.
There was one play where they could have blocked a little better.
Well, okay. There was the
one where Kenny got concussed was maybe not a great play.
Wait, but the one that
did he get concussed? Which play did he get concussed on?
Free rusher. He was not a free rusher.
It was the free rusher. I thought it was the one where he was running and he got like cracked.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Well, that's the same play. That's the same play. Free rusher, he avoids it, right? And then the other guy comes in and crushes him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was complete. Yeah, so by the way, that play for the Ravens has worked a lot, which is basically they don't blitz right away. He essentially lets all the linemen get engaged, and then he goes.
Yeah.
And then Roquan is on the outside. As soon as the quarterback starts moving, Roquan starts attacking whatever the side the quarterback's trying to bail from.
When Nova Stone turns into a random Ravens fan, okay, Nova Stone, sorry, you have a brand, dude, okay? You should be talking about putting Tom Brady picks back there. The Jesse James drop, first of all, you would pick that because you are actually a Patriots fan and a Tom Brady fan and not a Ravens fan. That's number one. I don't even know what the Daron Harmon pick is. But anyway. What even is it?
We should.
Daron Harmon's not even That's also a Patriot, right?
There's not really a especially embarrassing, like memorable Ravens versus Steelers victory that I can think of.
Never mind. Okay, I gotta apologize to Nova Stone. He was on brand. That the Daron Harmon pick is the play after the Jesse James drop, which I have erased from my memory. So okay.
I'm trying to see what would Tony hate the most? What image of Ravensdom does he just
well, you'll never know.
We're gonna troll all the rest of the season to figure out which button press.
You know what I need to do?
It's like a big ass picture of Joe Flacco and
No, I need to feed his wife. His wife will go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
The wife will know.
Yeah.
I think
What
Tony's
sets him
brother
off when he
also
watches the
actually-
Ravens game?
By the way, I think his
What
brother
really pisses Tony off
followed
about
me.
the Ravens?
Did Ray Lewis ever win Man of the Year? I feel like
Man of the year.
Yeah, he did when he killed the guy. Sorry.
Whoa.
I feel like Ray Lewis celebrating the Super Bowl 30 minutes after he might have allegedly killed somebody might be the picture to go with. You know what I mean? Like post alleged murder, Ray Lewis might be the way to go.
All right, I think we need to call it.
Yes. Okay. Thank y'all for watching the AFC North Talk. Make sure you subscribe, hit that button. Also, hit the like before you leave. If you can, check us on Patreon. Support us if you can. Again,
a big ass picture of Ray Lewis's Hall of Fame bus, or a real life, replica. Get a big one.
By the way, also for my Ravens fans, as we leave, go share some posters to Ravens Twitter feed. He would love that.
Yeah. There you go.